So very nice to meet you all.
Absolutely.
Ask anything.
So, you talked about the theme parks, and that the world of Pandora, Disney's Animal Kingdom, is probably one of the most immersive parks. And the music and the sounds go so far that you mentioned there's 5 hours of music you conducted for that, or composed.
Yeah.
What went into doing 5 hours of music for a theme park?
Well, one of my things I'm most proud of actually is there is the bar, which is called there is the Wind Traders store, which you may have now discovered why it's called the Wind Traders store, right? So that has an hour just in itself there. Then next to it is a bar that was run by a human who got stranded on Pandora and made Pandoran music into surf music, electro lounge stuff. And then there is a restaurant. Now the bar and the restaurant are about 20 yards apart, and they have speakers aiming at each other. And you know what happens when you are at a beach and you have two competing bars with music. So in this case, I have an hour of music for the bar and an hour of music for the restaurant that are completely different, but are like reflections of each other and line up perfectly. So you hear like a surf version, which is in major key, and then you have a big orchestral minor key version going on at the same time. And you can walk between the two, and they never feel bad. And I have sat there in the middle of the night, just walking back and forth, enjoying myself. And if you really were, so that is one of the things I'm most proud of in that. And then we're using also special immersive technology in the Flight of Passage, so that you can really feel the music, and it goes like racing past you and everything else. It's something above Dolby Atmos. It's called Iasona. Use that for that. So I loved doing the park, and you may have read that there is another one coming. It is possible that I will be starting work on that soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the Wind Treader theme that you're creating for Fire and Ash, did that theme come solely from the movie, or as you mentioned, there's the Wind Treader bar?
No, so believe it or not, I started writing stuff for the Wind Traders in 2018, after the park opened. Jim had asked me to read, end of 2017, I was asked to read the scripts to 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I started working on the indigenous music that had to be done on set. And I started writing a theme for some stuff in Wind Traders and that became, I built a scale for the Wind Traders, so they have their own mode. And once, because they're exotic, they're much more sophisticated, they travel around, and so I wanted a sense of music that reflected them, and that theme then came from something in there. So I started writing the Wind Traders theme about 2 years ago, and it went through probably 6 or 7 versions till I played it to Jim, and then Jim went, "Yeah, okay, that doesn't suck. That's fine."
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of him. Yeah.
What would you say is critical in composing for the superhero genre?
You have to take it. I mean, you have to take it seriously, obviously, that's the thing, but also you're there to try and support the emotional struggle of the characters, because they're not just impervious, they always have their strengths and weaknesses. And I think that the music should be there to tell you about their inner humanity, about all the things that goes on with them, rather than just that they can hit things very hard. And I think the music is there to give you that emotional connection with the character in a way that, how do you have an emotional link to somebody who is impervious to everything? There has to be a struggle, and the struggle is often, the music is there to help you learn and feel that struggle.
Could you give an example how you do that in music?
If you take I arranged I mean, I was the arranger on this, but on Amazing Spider-Man, the original one with, there's a cue called Saving New York, where there is a situation where you have Peter is, Spider-Man at this point he has to struggle to get to the point where he then goes swinging through the canyons of New York. And that struggle is an important part of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. You know, there's that point of the music in any hero film. If you take on Avatar: Way of Water, the lowest ebb is when Jake and Loak are stuck at the bottom of the ocean and they're running out of air, and Neytiri and I think it's Tuka next to her, and they're running out of air, and so on. And that music then has to send you, right, we are at the bottom, nothing is going, but there is a spark, there is hope. And then you build the struggle through musically. And in this case, you know, Kiri turns and saves them, but the struggle is then about that journey to the surface. And the music had to be about the struggle, because this is also about redemption, about Jake and Neytiri, that redemption of their characters. And the music is there to build as you get to the surface, and there you see Jake running out of air, and then Payakan saves them, and then you get pulled to the surface. And my job was to make you feel that, because they're underwater, they're not saying anything. They can't say, I'm running out of air, because, you know, so you have to do all of that musically. And that's one of the cues I'm most proud of. There was a thing when I was writing that with Jim. Jim said to me, you have to make me cry from the first bar, and so on. And you have to get that point where you are utterly emotionally invested in the characters, and I think that's what you hope to do when you're writing music.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the different roles you do, other than just being a composer, with all of these different aspects of being involved in the film's the film's scores.
Yeah.
How do you go about getting involved in the different aspects and kind of being selected and choosing which one you're going to do for a project?
You mean in terms of how do I write themes, or the
Yeah, so how do you decide if you're going to be the composer, or you're going to be the engineer, like working with a different composer to put on? No,
I don't do that anymore. I that was my old day job. All I do, I'm now just so. But when I was younger, the problem was that if I don't know, James Horner says to you, come and do Titanic, it's, you know, you go, yeah, okay, or come and then I stopped doing films for a while. I took a break. I was doing some other things. I was doing records, and there was a phone call from James. Said, "Look, I know you don't do this anymore. Would you come and look at 5 minutes of this film?" I hadn't done a film in several years, and he showed me 5 minutes of Avatar, and I looked at it and went, "I have to do this." You know, there are certain things that come and go, and you hope with the projects you're doing now, it doesn't matter if they're huge, if they are the biggest budget film that there has ever been, or they are a tiny independent film where you have actually no money. They are the same to me. I hope that I give the same level of commitment to a film where I have no money, and I mean literally no money, or a film that has, you know, as many resources as something like Avatar has, of the series. You know, they are part of that thing that if you take the job, you have to commit to it fully. I just did before I started the final bit for this, I did a tiny film, which is really tiny. It's about an 11-year-old boy in Omaha, Nebraska, who wakes up one morning and discovers that one of his testicles has gone missing, and is going for two. And it's very funny, it's hilarious, and it's a brilliant film. And I just went, wow, you know, I saw it and went, I've got to do this. And then we did it, and I really enjoyed it. There was exactly no money to do this score, but if you're going to do a job, you do it properly. You know? And so that would be the thing I would say. But when I was doing when I was doing records and films, because I have done a lot of records and a lot of films, it was about the challenge. I have one problem, which is I have the curiosity gene. And so if somebody says to me, go to Mongolia to go and work in Mongolia, then I go to Mongolia because I enjoy the challenge of working with the Mongolians. They say go and work with a Rajasthani singer or work with these people in Tunisia. That's part of that investigation of music that I love.
Thank you so much.